again, everyone, and welcome to a brand new edition of Big Time Sports. My name's Joe Dunn, and here's your invitation to stay with us for the next 25 minutes as we talk high school basketball all over the Stark County area. If you just joined us watching the show for the first time, you know all during football season we have a different coach and player come on. We're going to start that tonight as the Perry Panthers are in. If you also joined us last week, you know that Dean Marini was my co-host, and we picked all 7 state champions for high school football. Our record last week was 6-1. The only game we got wrong, we both picked Shelby to knock off Glenville in the state championship game. And we did that mainly because I had covered the Indian Valley Glenville game down at Minerva the week before. Indian Valley, if you watch that game, almost knocked off Glenville. They had the ball late in that fourth quarter with a chance to win. Going on that, Dean and I both thought that Shelby had a great chance to win that state championship, but boy, the Tarblooders are good, and they won it again convincingly over Shelby. Right now, it's basketball all the way, and right now we're welcoming the Perry Panthers. Before we do that, however, I want to give you some of the big scores from last week as we had our first full week of high school basketball in the area. Let's check some of those scores right now. Unfortunately, Perry is sitting here. I want to remind him that tough loss to Louisville, that was 52-45. Coach Ball will talk about that game in a little bit. Hoover over Toledo Whitmer, 76-46. Well, I think Hoover's going to be really good in the Federal League this year. Alliance, I think the Aviators are undefeated. They beat Salem 76-46. Green over Talmadge 56-50. And Malverner's always good, knocked off Garraway by a score of 41-35. Our Big Time Sports TV Game of the Week will be at Jackson this week. It'll be Hoover against Jackson. That'll be an outstanding game. Dave Sheets and Troy Richardson will be there for the play-by-play and color. You can watch that game right here Friday night at 11 o'clock and again Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. That should be an outstanding game. As we said, I think Hoover's very good. Jackson rebuilding a little bit this season. In addition to that Hoover-Jackson game, some of the other big games coming up this Friday night. Perry will be at Glen Oak, McKinley at Lake, Northwest at Orville, Masson will be at Green, Aquinas at Cardinal Mooney, and Carrollton at Alliance. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Coach Voll is here. We're going to talk about this year's edition of the Perry Panthers, look back at last year's great team that took it all the way to the Division II state championship game. So don't go away. We're back with more Big Time Sports right after this timeout.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
You're only as good as your people. And what we've done here is that we've created a culture where people flourish.
We don't want it to be a transaction. We want it to be something where there's a consultative approach, a relationship that allows us to really, one, ensure our customer the right way, but then two, to let them understand the value of getting to work with us.
It's an extreme amount of satisfaction for this team that we have right now. We've developed a team that is solely based on relationships.
I'm Seth.
And I'm Matt.
And we're West End
Pizzeria.
Pizzeria. Here, every pizza starts by hand. Fresh dough, real cheese, and toppings piled high the way you like them. It's not just dinner, it's that warm hometown flavor that keeps friends and families coming back. Dine in, carry out, or grab a slice on your way home. West End Pizzeria, located at 130 West Lisbon Street in Waynesburg, Ohio. We'll save you a slice.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports. If you watched our first segment on today's program, you know our featured team this week, the Perry Panthers. Head coach Matt Voll is here. And Coach, how often do you reminisce about that great run last year? This is your third year at Perry. How often when you're maybe out mowing the lawn last summer or doing a little this and that whole season kind of flows through your mind a little bit?
Yeah, start to finish, incredible job by our guys who graduated last year. That group, battled in a very tough conference, played a lot of opponents tough, and then to finish the season off with that tournament run that we had was was incredible. Obviously, you can stick your chest out a little bit more and get your chin up a little bit higher. But all credit to those guys, and they really, just drug me along.
Yeah.
And it was a fun ride.
Yeah, by the time your team got to the field house for that memorable game, I mean, people are still talking about that atmosphere over there at the field house. By the time you got there, Coach, you were kind of the darlings along with Louisville of Stark County. Everybody was kind of jumping on your bandwagon, which isn't all bad. You wanted to get on the board at some point of the season. That had to be fun knowing that everybody was in your corner.
It was awesome for our guys to have the community rally around us and give us the energy and salute that we needed, especially in that game and that matchup that we had. I think we were down by 13 in the third quarter and rallied and just never felt like we were out of it. And a lot had to do with the energy of the support that we received through our community and being at the field house. And it was a wonderful, wonderful day. Yeah. They did an awesome job, great tournament atmosphere. And as a kid, young kid growing up and going to St. John Arena and watching all those great state final games, and it was kind of a mini version of something like that. It was electric and it was awesome. Yeah, which brings us to this season. And I talked to you last year. We had a special edition of the program. We brought some of your players in and we reminisced about that great tournament run. And one thing we talked about is getting the interest of the young kids in Perry, all those kids down in the grade school, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders who went to those games, and now they want to be Perry Panthers. Have you seen the effect of that a little bit? There's always a positive ripple effect everywhere you go, and winning does that, and that creates that enthusiasm, and we've seen that in our youth and in our middle school all the way up. It's been positive. Yeah. Well, let's talk about this year. We talked about that tough loss to open up the season against Louisville. It's always tough to win on the road. Tell us about that game. That was only a 7-point game. Yeah, Louisville was very well connected. I think they've been, pretty much solidified, playing the JVs last year and playing against that real good varsity team they had. And we just had a couple yips and, things that didn't go our way. And, the connections weren't always there. The shots didn't go always in. And you're going to see that in December. There's always going to be a quarter or a game where it's inconsistency. Exactly. And we got off to a good start. Middle quarters weren't very good. We finished strong, and I was very positive with how our guys competed at the very end from, that especially the fourth quarter. Yeah. High school basketball fans know how important the month of June is when you get your team back and you travel and play a lot of basketball. Coming out of June this year, what were you most pleased about? And again, who are some of the guys that stepped up in June and maybe you weren't expecting? Yeah, we got a couple of those guys here for sure, but June was kind of awkward this year. We had some guys that were with us that's not with us now. And so, we kind of had to reassess things here in the preseason, and we're still trying to get things organized. Gotcha. You got a young man sitting next to you that is key to this year and was key last year too. Absolutely. Mike Haley is our senior point guard. He started last year, sometimes came off the bench, but does everything really, with all his heart, and just a great kid to have in the gym. He's got great habits. He's a good team leader. Welcome to the program. When I was talking about the effects of the young kids in Perry Township, I saw you shaking your head. Tell us about that. After you got back from Dayton, walking around the community, talking to some of the young kids, could you feel the effect of what it did to the community with that great run? Yes, even before that. The kids, we went to all the schools before we left, gave them high fives, a couple of us signed their shirts. It was really cool. Tell us about your preparation for this year. Tell us what you did not only leading up this year, but maybe as soon as that season was over. Did you take a little break, kind of recharge the batteries a little bit, then get started again preparing for this year? Straight back to work. Back to work? Straight back to work. And back to work means what? What did you do in the off season? Get in the gym, get better with all of our guys. If you could sit there and kind of grade yourself, last year going into this year, what were some of the things you want to get better at? Maybe you talk to the coach about saying, this is what I want you to get better at during the summer. What were some of those things? Making smarter passes, controlling the pace of the game, making the game easier for, the other players on the court. Yeah. What's kind of the strength of your game right now, would you say, it's going into this year? I would say handling the ball in my mid-range game.
I got you. Coach, you're looking like at a kid like this when he means so much to you. Is he almost like a coach on the floor right now? That point guard's got to be thinking a lot like you are.
Mikey is, no question, the heartbeat of what we do on the floor. And, you know, he's definitely an extension, and he's playing that role, and he's learning every day. He wants to, he's owned that up, and that's something that he's going to get better and better, and he's going to make our team better and better.
Yeah, what changes do you see this year, if any? The style you play or the defense you play? I know that always is what you have personnel-wise, but I know when you get everybody in place, you have a certain way you like to play the game.
Yeah, we're still in that process of, you know, offensively and defensively, you know, where we're at in regards to, you know, whether we want to get underneath teams and baseline to baseline, or we going to trap.
Yeah.
You know, offensively, you know, more transition, or are we going to be slowing it down and executing? And we kind of put a lot of things in place, and now we got to assess. And each game, we're going to take each game by game, and we're going to form our identity. I really felt, though, coming into our preseason, and as we went through our 4 weeks of practice going into the first game, we were ahead of where we were last year. So there's been a lot of positives. We didn't play very well the first game, obviously, but there's been a tremendous amount of positives. Yeah.
You've been doing this a long time as a head basketball coach. Your dad was a coach. At what point of the season do you feel like that all kicks in? Because you want to get your team ready for tournament time. You want to win the Federal League, but you want to be ready when that's one and done starts.
Yeah, you want to be your best. You want to be your best version, and as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And, you know, winning's important. You know, we're going to do everything we can to go at it on Friday night and then Saturday night, and we're going to do everything we can now. And at the same time, you know, there's a long-term plan, and you know that there's 22 games that you want to get ready for the tournament, and that's when you want to be, you know, everybody should be solid, clicking, and that's always going to be the purpose.
Of course, you got two games coming this weekend. You got Glen Oak on Friday night, and then you got another game with Warren JFK at home, I think, on Saturday. Correct. Which is, for a team that's trying to find themselves, I guess you relish that, those two games back to back.
Very much so, very much so. It's great to go back-to-back nights here early in the season. I know Glen Oak's going to be a tough place to play. It's a great opportunity for us. You know, we're 0-1. We got a chance to go 2-1 after this week. I don't know the last time Perry's won at Glen Oak. I mean, it might be 15, 20 years.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And so we have a great opportunity for our kids to do something that hasn't been done in a long time.
I think I know the answer to this, Coach. Looking at the Federal League, I know they're all going to be tough. Is there a team out there like a McKinley that a lot of experts are saying they're the team to beat, or is it one at a time for you?
Yeah, one at a time. Everybody's strong. Everybody's good. I mean, obviously, I think, you know, like what you said, McKinley's been kind of labeled as a favorite, but there's a lot of great coaches. There's a lot of great programs, a lot of good athletes in Stark County for sure.
Exactly.
Federal League's strong.
What about your non-conference? I don't know if you had your, this is your third year. Have you been able to put those non-conference teams in place now finally?
Yeah, we had, you know, it's changed over the last couple years in terms of who we play. We had some teams drop us, and then we had to add. And when you add teams like Warren JFK, it was more about the timing than who the opponent was. We needed a game early in the season. They wanted a game early in the season, and it just kind of fit like that. You know, at the end of the year, we have Walsh Jesuit playing. You know, we had that last week, and then you don't start tournaments, the districts, you know, in D1 and D2 until the first week of March. So you got to find an opponent in those last 2 weeks, because the Federal League ends up, you know, about 2 weeks before the regular season's over. Yeah. You know, so we picked up Youngstown Boardman, Walsh Jesuit at the end of the season. So it's more just your dates and your schedule, you know, and you want to have good teams.
Exactly.
It's a combination of both.
I was kind of joking with you before we started the show, Coach. You were on this program a year ago, and you made one of the best predictions I've had a coach make. I'm not sure if it was on camera or after the show was over. You said, you know, I've been looking at all the Division II teams around the area, around the state. I think we can make a run. That was a great prediction. And how did you see that back in those days?
Well, you know, obviously you believe in your guys. Yeah. And, you know, I believe in this group. I don't know what our ceiling is yet, but, you know, I'm excited to figure that out here early in the season. But I think, you know, if you're looking through, and, you know, Perry now has become D2, not D1. Yeah. You know, McKinley's got 50 district titles.
Exactly.
Perry's now got 2. Yeah. It's a big difference. Sure. So now D2 gives you those opportunities and those programs. And I think you're going to see it every year. You're going to see it every year. There's going to be a team that's going to crop up in the area, and it's going to have a heck of a run.
Coach, stay put. Mikey, thanks for coming over. Look forward to watching you play. Best of luck, and keep it going. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, another Perry Panther is here to talk some basketball. So don't go away. We're back right after this timeout.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
Altman is here for you, in your community, because you matter. We're proud to be the area's first and only independent health system. We are one team, joined together and committed to one mission, to lead our community to improved health. And we've always been here, dedicated to providing you with the very best in care, wellness, education, insurance, and more. For your community and for your family, Altman is always here for you.
Certified by the American Lighting Association, Furbay's Light Shop is your go-to for all lighting needs, residential, commercial, or industrial. Our experts assist with every detail, from bulb size and fixture type to designing layouts. Visit us for hands-on displays showcasing various fixtures, or log in to furbay.com/lightshop. Let us help you visualize the perfect light for your space. Whether you need advice or want to explore lighting options, stop by or log in to Furbay's Light Shop today and see how we can brighten your project.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports as we continue our conversation with Coach Matt Vold. Perry Panthers, who get ready for 2 games this weekend. One will be home on Saturday. Hope to see a lot of Perry Panther fans over there to welcome back the Panthers for this coming season. Hey, a quick reminder, the Big Time Sports TV game of the week at Jackson this week. Hoover will be at Jackson. You can watch that game here Friday night at 11 o'clock, Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. Our entire schedule for the entire season is on the website at BigTimeSportsOhio.com. A lot of games coming up, and look forward to bringing you a different team each week and a different game every Friday night for high school basketball fans all over the area. Coach, let's talk about the youth program at Jackson, because we touched on a little bit in the first segment of all the young kids right now. They're dribbling basketballs all over Perry wanting to be in your program. Tell us about that youth program and some of the guys you got involved in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Our youth coordinator, Glenn Schering, has done a remarkable job along with Kenny Freeze. And those guys have put together a good program. They're out, practicing 3 nights a week. We're filling up the elementary gyms with as many teams as possible. And then they're getting after it on Saturday morning. So it's been really nice. Unfortunately, we were going to have our youth night, the home opener, and we have to find another date for those kids to come in and be introduced. But it's something that, we feel like our guys, it's their responsibility to kind of pay it forward and lead by example and pass the baton someday to the young kids of Perry Township. Exactly.
Young guy sitting to your left who was really key last year, was going to be big this year. I'm sure he started in that Perry youth program just a few years ago. Why don't you introduce him and what he means to the team?
Yeah, Nico Martelli. I think his parents helped run the youth program back in the day. So if you talk about Perry basketball, you got to talk about the Martelli family. And Nico's a great kid, and he's worked very, very hard to get to this point. He was a huge asset to our team last year, just a big-time player for us.
Nico, welcome to the program. I've watched you play for the last couple of years. You were good enough and talented enough to play at a very young age over at Perry. But let's go back to that youth program. First time you picked up a basketball and where you are right now, how much fun was it? And who pretty much taught you the game all the way back in grade school?
Yeah, my dad taught me everything I know. He's been with me through youth program, just been with me the whole way up, all the way to high school.
Exactly. What about last year's run? Now you got a brand new clean slate, a lot of expectations. How can you build on that success from last year and play with as much confidence as you can right now?
Yeah, last year really fueled us, so we're looking to repeat the same thing, but that's in the past, so we're focused on this season right now and focusing on our goals that we have this season.
Exactly. How much better have you gotten since you entered that youth program years and years ago. How big were you, and when did you get that growth spurt to put you where you're at right now?
Yeah, I say the youth program really helped me, but when I got to the middle school, that's really when I had that growth spurt, and then it just carried all the way up to high school.
Exactly. Tell us about your game right now. What do you feel confident in doing? I know you're a big guy, you're down on the block a lot. Do you feel more confident with your back to the basket, turning and facing the basket, or tell us about your game right now?
I mean, I think it's a combination of both. I feel comfortable playing my back to the basket, and I also feel comfortable like mid-post area, squaring up and taking guys off the dribble.
How do you practice that during the week? I mean, if you're by yourself out in the playground or in the gym by yourself, what are some of the things you do to practice what will happen in the game? A lot of guys go out and shoot it from everywhere, the shots you'll never see in the game, but how do you practice what you're actually going to feel in the game?
I usually have my dad come with me, and he gets the pad and just hits me with the pad, and then I just practice game shots. So that's basically it, game shots at game speed.
Exactly. Did you go to any camps this year to get better, or just kind of sit back and then do it on your own?
No, I went to some camps this year, but mostly it was just on my own in the gym.
Yeah, of course, being a big guy down low, which means you're going to get hacked on and fouled and beat up down low, which means you're going to go to the free throw line a lot. How have you developed that free throw shot, and how do you kind of, with the crowd, it was a close game and the place is going nuts, how do you kind of settle in and concentrate and hit shots?
Well, I just think it just comes with experience, you know. Pressure, you learn to embrace it, so I've kind of got used to it. So I just take deep breaths and just zone everything out.
Yeah. Any games you're looking forward to this year? You got 2 games coming this weekend. You've played over at Glen Oak a lot. You got a home game on Saturday. What are you looking forward to this year, maybe on a game-to-game basis against some of those good Federal League teams?
I'm just looking to play our best game with our teammates, you know, show people what we're capable of and just trust each other. So I'm just excited for every game we have. I'm just going to take it one game at a time.
And one final question, what about your future? I'm sure basketball has been such a big part of your life. Do you hope to keep it going now, to go to that next level after your days at Perry are over?
Yeah, I'd like to go to the next level, but I'm not really thinking about that right now. I'm just thinking about this season, and that's the only thing I'm thinking about. When that time comes, that time will come, but right now I'm just focused on the high school season.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for coming over tonight. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Coach, stay put because we've got one more Perry Panther left to talk to, so don't go away. We're back right after this timeout.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
With Bell Store's Bell Buddy Rewards, you save in-store and at the pump. New members receive 20 cents off per gallon as a welcome gift. Everyday savings are made easy. Instantly enjoy 3 cents off per gallon just for being a member. When you spend $25 in store, unlock an extra 5 cents off per gallon on your next fill-up. Buy 5, get 1 free. Track your drinks and earn free coffee, fountain, icy, and espresso with drink clubs. So start saving today. Download the Bell Stores app and sign up for Bell Buddy Rewards.
Wouldn't it be nice if everything was easy? Primetime Health Plan is easy to choose and easy to use. That's why we've had the highest customer service rating for 10 straight years. Call 330-363-7407 to get all the benefits you deserve. Medicare made easy with Primetime Health Plan. Primetime Health Plan is an HMO POS plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Primetime Health Plan depends on contract renewal. Every year, Medicare evaluates plans based on a 5-star rating system.
Okay, if you like high school basketball, you have come to the right place because each week we have a different high school team, coach, and players come on, talk about their program, get a little feel for what it's going to be like during the 25-26 season. No better team to start than the Perry Panthers, who made that great run last year in Division II. Head coach Matt Voll is here. And coach, let's talk a little coach talk right now. When you go out to scout, a lot of fans just go out, they watch the game. As a coach, you go, you got to scout. What are some of the things you look at right away? The defense you're playing, style of play, or all that encompassed in one thing?
Combination, Jimmy's and Joe's, strengths and weaknesses. You know, what do they like? What defense they play, offensive style, executions, X's and O's and stuff like that. The unique thing about it is nowadays is with Huddle, everybody has a film.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a film of everybody's every game, so it's pretty you're more there watching and getting a feel for how the team or what calls they make, but a lot has to do with, you know, a lot of the film work that you do.
You talked about some of the great coaches in the Federal League. How often in your experience, maybe not at Perry, but some of your other jobs, how often do you come into a game and all of a sudden you're seeing things you've never seen on tape? You got to make those in-game adjustments. Is that the fun part, or is that kind of tough right there?
No, it's a challenge. You got to pivot. You got to adapt on the spot. And also, you know, like we offensively, we like to have a bank of sets and, you know, continuous offenses, because, you know, they got a film on you, and, you know, multiple films of everybody in the Federal League shares. You know, we have our pool of films, and so a lot of times you'll take these 10 plays for this game and then maybe look and say, okay, we're going to use these 10 plays for this game, and you want to have a bank, and then you kind of pick and choose. And so you don't want to give them all the same looks night in, night out, because everybody's going to know if you call something, they know exactly where it's at. And basketball's played in the gray area. I mean, you're going to have things in black and white. You're going to go here, go here, go here, but still it boils down to, you know, kids got to pass, shoot, and dribble. Yeah, exactly. Taking that into account, Coach, a lot of people don't realize coaching is just not from 3 to 5:30 every day. How much time do you spend looking at that tape and designing game plans and things? Oh, no question. You know, your mind's on it as soon as you get up. Yeah. And your mind goes away when you put your head on the pillow. Sure. And, you know, that's just where you're at in season. Yeah. And as the season goes along, it's even... gets more intense. Yeah, yeah. So when coaches, there's no downtime. Yeah, there's 24/7. And you really try to be mindful of your family. Yeah. And you're mindful of the people around you. Sure. So you got to keep things and compartmentalize things, but we're not kidding anybody. Yeah. You know, it's 24/7. Exactly. Well, young guy sitting next to you, I'm sure basketball is maybe 24/7 for him also. Why don't you introduce that young guy? Yeah, this is Nazir Foster. Naz came to us his junior season, played mostly JV, but had some key moments last year in the tournament. When we were playing Warren G. Harding in the regionals, he went in there and guarded Chaz Coleman. You know, so we knew he was always there, and now this year he's one of those key components, and we're happy to have him. He had a great fall season. He did an outstanding job on the football field. So we're excited for him to be on our team and what he brings to the table. Well, Naz, welcome to the program. You're the guy right now. I mean, last year you sat and watched for a while, then you got you know, the tournament, did some good things. Knowing this was going to be your time to go out and really contribute and be a big part of this team, what were some of the things you did in the offseason to get yourself ready to go?
Yeah, in the offseason, I just try to go back and look at our old players and how they played and how I can contribute, how they contribute, and just really look and see how they play defense and what I can do to enhance my defensive skills on the court. Now, do you take pride in your defense? Coach mentioned you take on some of the best players every game. Is that something you take pride in, or is just something you've always been able to do, is get in guys and shut them down? Yeah, I take real pride in playing defense, because players, they think it's just an offensive game, but defense really wins you the games. Like me being a short guard and getting into people and getting steals and helping out my team, I feel like that's a really good Final game. Question, you're a busy man playing a little football, a lot of basketball. How do you keep everything in perspective with academics and school and trying to get some food in your system and things like that? Yeah, academics is always first, but I take one thing at a time. So if I'm in one season, I focus on that with everything in me, and then once that season is over, it's a new start. Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to watching you play. Did a nice job last year. I'm sure this is the year that you kind of circle and say, I'm going to really put a lot of highlights on the highlight tape. So thanks for coming over tonight. Thank you. Coach, as always, it's fun to talk to you. As I told people when you made that great run last year, the coach is not only a great coach, he also can look into the future. So congratulations on last year and best of luck this year. Thank you, Joe. Okay, we're back again next week with the Lake Blue Streaks. Have a great week, everybody.